He was gone, wasn't breathing, didn't have a pulse, no heartbeat for at least 10 minutes. Tonight, he is back from the dead with a second chance to live. Good evening, everybody. I'm Jim Sackett.
And I'm Kelly Dunn. He survived, and he's sharing his story with his brush with death with News Channel 5's Evan Axelbank. Evan joins us now live from outside Palm Beach Fire Station 5. What an amazing story to be able to tell, Evan.
Kelly, Jim, it's unbelievable. City Hall believes that the Palm Beach Fire Department is one of the few departments in the entire country to train its firefighters to purposely induce hypothermia when a patient whose heart has stopped beating. Now, in 2 years, this department has done it more than a dozen times, but they have rarely had the success that they had when a patient named Charles Morgan had a heart attack on December 8th.
A smoker for 30 years, Charles Morgan had the urge at work.
I came out this door to smoke a cigarette. I fell face first in the grass.
But that's just what his friends tell him. The 52-year-old car salesman, husband and father, doesn't remember anything about December 8th, the day he collapsed at Schumacher Volkswagen on Okeechobee.
My wife, the first thing she said to me when I woke up in the hospital, and I don't remember that either, she goes, "You know how lucky you are." And I said, my first question was, why?
Here's why.
I come running out of the office.
This former Marine started doing chest compressions.
He was very constricted, his face, and he was gurgling. He just took his last breath. He wasn't breathing anymore.
The more stressful it is, the more calm we're trained to be so we can think clearly.
The 911 call was answered by 7 firefighters from West Palm Station 5, led by Captain Danny Colazzo.
And at the time of arrival, he must have been without a pulse and not breathing for over 8 to 10 minutes.
Firefighters say Charles Morgan was dead and probably would have stayed that way without modern technology. That's Station 5's chest compression machine working on a dummy. It also squeezes a person's sides, making it 80% more likely to get a pulse than someone who's pressing on their own. It worked. After 10 minutes, Charles' heart was beating again. Then they unleashed their secret weapon, salt water, 32 degrees, into the body with a needle.
We also place ice packs in designated areas underneath the armpits and the groin, behind the neck, to also put him in a hypothermic state.
The ice in his veins allowed his brain to slow down and go without oxygen for double the amount of time a person would normally be brain dead by. He had a stent put in and was back at work in 3 weeks. Brain damage? Nil. He's come back from the dead a changed man.
I haven't smoked a cigarette since December 8th. And I go to exercise 3 times a week now. These people saved my life, and I got a second chance.
Firefighters who are so often devastated by what happens on the calls they go on will fly high for at least a little while about this success story.
We all have families, uncles, friends, and co-workers, and for us to know that this person was dead and is now alive and walking and has a second chance of life is incredibly rewarding.
Without inducing hypothermia, firefighters say that it is possible that he would have survived, but would have lived with severe brain damage. Now, the firefighters give a big slice of credit to the fact that everybody they say in the life-saving chain acted quickly and perfectly. They say that 911 was called right away. Chest compressions were done until firefighters got there. The firefighters' equipment worked perfectly, and they say that nurses and surgeons at the hospital also acted just perfectly. We're live in West Palm Beach tonight. Evan Axelbank, WPTV, News Channel 5.